Zlurpcast!
What is this episode? Some people that are on the show don't even know what we're talking about today. Here's the scoop. This is a season 2 preview episode. You know, if you watch, I don't know if people watch sitcoms anymore, if that's even a thing, but you know, they used to be, you'd see previews of what's going to happen to see if you're going to like it. It's like, you know what? Yeah, I think this show with the guy from that and the girl from that, and it always sucks anyway. That's kind of what this is. We're going to tell you things that you could expect in our season 2. Last week, the episode 50, we reviewed our reviews. We kind of gave a bit of a recap. I do want to delve into some of the ratings though, because I'm a stats man, just as Xtreme as a stats and ass man. They both fit the song. That's why we sing both. We just alternate the lyrics. And we're going to go over some stats, but we're also going to talk about what you can expect. Now, somebody might say, Jonny P, why would you want to give the goods on this? Well, the only people that are going to watch this are fans of this show. There's no catchy name in the title. It doesn't say, why Blitz Bowl is better than Blood Bowl, which is going to make you click on it. This one's not going to have that. So if you're watching it, you are going to get the goods delivered right on your face. That's why you're here, for the facials. We got Biran up top with me. I'm on the top row. Biran up top with me. We're in good company up top. He's got a Canadian shirt. What is that?
It's a anime shirt.
Okay, I just saw the top. I thought it was the leaf.
No. Oh God, no.
Well, I just
as a goof, yeah, as a goof, I'd do it.
As a goof, you would. Like you have the Jewish hat you wear. Yarmulke. Sorry. I've got a Viking Raiders shirt as well. Xtreme has a Golf Rocker shirt. Mike has a flannel. What's your shirt underneath? Oh, it's Zlurpcast. Look at that. You know what's crazy? There happens to be a URL, a domain out there that you can type in, zlurpcast.net, that takes you to a place to buy those, and we get pennies on the dollar. So if you want a shirt like that, you should buy one. Or a mask, or a, what do you call the mat? A bath mat you put near the shower. You can step on our faces with wet feet if you want.
Did your mom have that weird carpet U-shaped thing around the toilet?
Yeah.
Growing up? That's disgusting.
Yeah. I don't get it. We don't have that in any of our bathrooms now.
Because you're going to get pee on it.
We also had, did you guys have this? In the main bathroom in our, because we had 2 bathrooms in our house. One was like the one we don't have company go in.
Right.
And the other one is.
That's the one you poop in, yeah.
The normal one. The normal one had a plush seat.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, why? So your ass sticks to the seat. Like if you're wearing short shorts, Daisy Dukes, like Biran has, at an old diner. And it's like,
And the vinyl peels away eventually as it gets old. So you have that exposed sponge there.
Yeah, that's going to crack in. I just don't get, Mike, anything.
My parents had that very seat for like 15 years. And then when it finally cracked open, they got a new one and it was white. And they had a week after having it, they had a party, and then somebody ended up with shit stains on the white toilet. And they was like, nope. And they got rid of it, and never again.
My mom also had the carpet cover for the lid of the toilet.
Yes.
And I would put the seat up to take a piss, and it would fall down right through the stream.
So we put those out for company, the lid. But whether it was the lid or even the foam thing, either one is a fucking guillotine on your dick.
Well, I'm not big enough for it to get in the way, but it would cut through the stream.
Yeah.
Well, you had to hold it with one hand.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you know what? Off with their heads.
Yeah, one hand and then pushing the fat mountain to get it to come out a little bit.
You had a fat mountain back then too.
Yeah.
Well, my in-laws, their toilet seat again will fall down on you, but it comes off. If you lift it up, it comes off. So I got to take the lid off and either hold it or just set it on the sink while I'm peeing, and then I got to remember to put it back on. And
I just want prisons that are just wide open bowls with a drinking fountain right above it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Life is real hard for being a straight white male. Anyway,
It is. Playing on hard mode.
We're on, what mode are we on? So season 2 preview. Before we get into some things we're going to talk about for the next year, episodes 51 through 100 for those keeping score at home, I think it'd be fun to take the data from last week, from our adjusted scores. If you watched last week, it's 3 hours. And it was, I would say, a third of the 3 hours is arguing about how numbers work and how to add and get averages. Do we even want to do it? Do we don't? It was, I couldn't believe it. We got through it somehow. And basically it's going to, the numbers that are on our spreadsheet. But by doing that, you can't get to this data until you get the first one right. Garbage in, garbage out, as anyone who took a basic class in school would tell you. So based on our numbers here, I went and I said, you know what, let's take all the games, 24 games, and they're in different categories. You can be in more than one category, depending on the game. But it allowed me to put together some fun numbers to see our true fanboys and sad sacks that exist here.
And it looks like you're doing real work when you're just goofing around with the podcast.
I did this the other night. It took almost an hour to do it. So, yeah. I mean, I did it at home, and I already worked from home. But,
yeah.
Yes, if I was in an office, this would be done at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yes.
When
exactly.
People walk by and you see a spreadsheet, and they're like, wow, what a good worker.
Right. Always working. It was like when I did Photoshop XCW cards. Those are hard to fake. People are walking by like, what is Blanco Diablo? Like, don't worry about that.
Zoom in so you can't see it.
Right. Check the printer jam later. You'll see what I'm trying to do. All right. So first one is Games Workshop games. And in this category is Warhammer Underworlds, Warcry, Blood Bowl, Blitz Bowl, 40K, Kill Team, Necromunda, Space Hulk. So there's 8 GW games, which seems about right. Of the 24 we did, eight of them, a third.
Thank goodness for Space Hulk.
What?
Thank goodness for Space Hulk.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see.
It bring the average up.
Xtreme, you're not going to be able to say a whole lot in this category. I'm letting you know right now. You thank goodness all you want. I don't know
what do the Starkey people refer to GW as, like Grandpa Warbucks or something?
That's one of them. Grandma Wendy. There's a bunch of stupid ones. They just put G Dubs sometimes.
Well, G Dub is cool though.
The guy Gerald Dubinsky.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that he worked for Games Workshop at the bunker? He got the name G Dub, but then his name also happened to be G Dub. Isn't that weird how he got retconned like in a matter of 2 weeks? Anyway.
I thought he was fake, like Jim Schwartz.
Is he? What do you mean? Is he fake?
I thought G-Dub was a fake character, like Jim Schwartz on radio for Kevin Matthews.
No, he's real.
He's real, and so is Gerald Dubinsky. Xtreme knows the whole debate. I think he's making a game about the whole family. But like, some games, like the further you get to the end as like a group co-op, this is the further away you get.
Mm-hmm.
The least likely you are to find out the real killer, then you win. All right, so looking at those 8 Games Workshop games, I don't think it's a surprise on the fanboy of that group is me. I have 3.75 overall score for all Games Workshop games. Mike is second at 3.19. Biran is third at 3. Xtreme is the sad sack. He hates Games Workshop games. 2.81.
Surprised it's that high.
Well, I think it was Space Hulk's 5.
If there was no Space Hulk, then we're looking at Necromunda, which he gave horrible scores. Kill Team 40K all low. Blitz Bowl, Blood Bowl were higher, so those kind of even out. And then Underworld was kind of in the middle. So it kind of makes sense where it's at. Xtreme, if you would have docked Underworlds and Blitz Bowl like how you really felt, it'd be even lower. But I think there was a little evening out that went on with those. Anything to say with your sad sack award for this one, Xtreme?
We've talked about a lot of 40K games, and I don't like the 40K mechanics or games in general, so that's going to bring it down. It's not that I hate GW. They make great models. I like some of their games.
Okay, Space Hulk.
Space Hulk.
Number 1. And as the fanboy, I'll say, keep bringing it on. I'm going to buy all of it. There we go. They love hearing that. They know that a box set's going to get purchased. Here's the thing. It's going to get purchased by the haters too. Like the people that hated Howard Stern's listened to him for even longer than the people who liked him. The people who hate Games Workshop are still going to buy the next like super secret limited run box that they do. You hate Games Workshop. Why'd you buy Indomitus? Why'd you buy Warcry?
Oh, such a good value for the miniatures and the scenery.
Oh, well, yeah, I want to see that. Yeah, it's not cool anymore to hate them.
Mhm.
It's really in on
I
the
think there is a subset of the haters though that will not buy that stuff because they are like your bargain miniature players.
The price per
And
middle.
that like to brag
Yeah.
Guess
about
what?
not buying it,
Yeah. Does this show cater to that group, Xtreme?
Brian does.
I
A
don't know.
lot of games that group likes.
What the like bring your own model crew that kind of
Those games and some of I think the next category on your list would
The
probably
chip
be a
on the
lot of
shoulder
people.
viewers, if you will.
We did have an episode where we had that dry erase train game. So I mean, you're right. We have a lot of cheap ass content here. Cheap ass games. That's a real thing, right?
Cheap Ass Gamer is a channel, isn't it?
That's a brand of games too, right?
Yeah,
All right. Next on the list, Mantic Games. And before we go into the individual scores, as a whole, as a collective, this show gave Mantic Games 3.8. That's pretty damn good. Games Workshop as a whole, 3.19. That really says something that people think that we shit on Mantic.
And we do,
I mean,
but not. It doesn't impact the overall score.
when it's all
No.
said and done, we don't though, because it's still there. As the lowest rate, it was close for some of us. Valdric was the winner. Is it the winner? The fanboy. The
Well, he is a
fanboy.
Pathfinder, so
You are Pathfinder. You are a Mantic fanatic. 4.1 overall. There's not a lot of those over 4 cumulative of anything. So 4.1 Valdric. Then we go down to Biran 3.8, Xtreme 3.7, me 3.6. So we all kind of pretty close, but Mike definitely has something. Anything you want to say, Mike, about your love and enthusiasm for all Mantic games? And by the way, this is Dreadball, Dead Zone, Kings of War, Dungeon Saga, Armada.
I'll be honest with you. I actually, after like 5 minutes after we stopped recording, I'm like, I wish I would have given Kings of War a 5.0 because if I don't give them a 5.0, I really can't see me giving any game a 5.0.
Great point. This is
So
kind
I've
of
set, because let's be honest, the game I spent like 4 hours hobbying today on Kings of War shit. And if I'm not giving them a 5.0, I really can't see me giving any game a 5.0.
That's a great point. That's just like before we went on the air.
Exactly.
We were talking about comic grading and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like at a job. Well, we don't give out 5s. Like in your eyes, Mike, if Kings of War doesn't get a 5, what would?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So that's a great point. I'm going to go to Biran and Xtreme. I still don't know the roles. Sous chef, executive chef, creator of the spreadsheet, spreadsheet interloper, essentially.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what you were. You fucking jumped in there without anyone even knowing, changing, like it was like in Ferris Bueller when he's counting the days, the absent days, like in real time. Like
The password was pencil, so it was really easy to guess.
The
Right.
freakiest thing was I didn't even know he had write access. So the first time he did it, I was like, what the hell?
Xtreme, you're correct, Xtreme. And in fact, most of the disconnect and just the overall disarray that this show is, frankly, is actually your fault because you didn't even know that we all had write access.
You guys didn't know you had it at either.
But you
I didn't know till I typed a button and it showed up on the
We don't
spreadsheet.
know that we don't have to know, but you know, or you should have known because you should know.
I
we
work in
didn't know
IT, Brian. You're not getting one by me.
We didn't know. We needed to know, but you should have known. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's rare that I pass out any kind of Google Doc and give people write access to it.
It's true. Yeah. I believe I only have read access to all of your game ideas still, just for, I get it. I keep that, put that under the mattress.
It made for a good
Magazine.
bit for a little bit there. I liked it.
It did. I still don't know if I have right access or not. So
Yeah. I believe you have to check your Gmail. Do you have a Gmail email, Mike?
somewhere, yeah.
You still have Yahoo.
Oh, that's my main one is Yahoo. Yeah.
That's a different subject for a different show, right there.
Exactly.
There was that one meme that said, like, based on what email you have, tell someone what level of computer savviness you are.
There's this whole thing with where I work. It's linked to Google, but for whatever reason, every tournament I ran, I had a different Gmail account for, and it got linked. My work email got linked to my Super Bowl account where they'd send in Super Bowl rosters. And so, in Google, you have to be logged into a certain account, but if I wasn't logged into the right account, I couldn't get access for my work. And it was this whole clusterfuck.
I used to use my work email for our D&D group, and I had to stop because one of our members would send incredibly inappropriate things to my work account.
It happens.
Hey, check out this naked chick. No!
You may have set yourself up for that, Mike, because at one time, I don't know the exact web address, but it started with UIC, and there's a tilde in there, and then there's slash Valdric. And I believe the last part was like icepelthammerblow.pdf. So, a secret, double secret probation rule book on UIC servers, Mike?
Not anymore. They said, "Oh, we're getting rid of all of those," and they're gone.
I hope it was worth it.
Yeah,
sure. For either side. So yeah, Mike. So my question was, Biran or Xtreme? I don't know who's making the call. Are we going to let Mike change that to a?
Nah, leave it.
No, Mike.
Episode 100, I'll change it. I'll address it at episode 100.
Okay.
All right.
I was going to say you'll find out if you have right access if you actually can change it. We'll find out. It ain't doing it. As the lowest score, the sad sack of this on Mantic, here's the thing. Here's my defense, if I even need a defense. 3.6 is the lowest score.
Good score.
That's a great score.
That's all of our scores round up to a 4.
Yep.
And that's an amazing score.
Yeah. Oh, in general?
Yeah. You have a 3.6 and you're the lowest. It's still rounding up, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think Biran had a point last week about it is a certain level to even get talked about by us. I mean, we're not going to, who knows? We got the preview we're talking about. Maybe we'll purposely review some bad games. I don't know, but we're not trying to seek out bad ones. Maybe we can in the season 2. So let us know in the comments if you want to see some bad games reviewed. And also
I thought we did. It was called Blood Bowl.
Ooh.
Oh, sick burn.
Man, I can see Xtreme's penis shrinking as you say that, Biran. Going back up into them. Next category I have is sports games. We're looking at Rumble Slam. I'm counting that one. Blood Bowl, Blitz Bowl, Dread Ball, Techno Bowl. Anyone want to guess who has the highest? Me. On this one.
Really?
Oh no, sorry.
Nope.
Wrong column. I printed it in black and white. I can't see my highlights. I highlighted in blue and red. Okay. Mike,
Brian can't see him either.
We all dream in black and white. Again,
That
Sin
would be
City
great.
style. Want the blue in there. The blood in there. 3.92 from Mike. I was close. 3.83. Then Xtreme, 3.67. Look at this huge drop off. Biran, the guy who buys a new NBA jersey, sports fan. I like sports ball. He's one of those guys.
Oh, I hate that.
I do too. You have barely 3.08. Before we get into Mike's acceptance speech of his fanboy award as the sad sack, why do you hate sports games, Biran?
I think my Blood Bowl score probably slanted it. I also wasn't a huge fan of Rumble Slam. I think I scored highly on Dread Ball and Blitz Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think it's just my extreme trolley scores on Blood Bowl that did it.
Okay.
But you've said before that you don't really like sports games, but you've found these sports games that you do like.
Yeah. I think I gave Tecmo Bowl a high score because I respect the rule set. It's just not for me. I don't know. I grew up around sports. I played, all through high school. It's just
You're like the only athlete among us.
yeah.
Yeah. I played high school tennis, Mike. Thank you.
That's not a sport.
You're right. It's not, because the guy driving by our practice yelled out fucking tennis, other F word. You know what I'm talking about.
Not the F bomb, but a different F word.
We were laughing. The coach yells out, "Stop the damn car! Get out of the damn car!" They kept going. Was
he going to beat him up or something?
Yeah, and like, fucking tennis, other F words. As a player, I loved it. Yeah, so I get that, Biran. I think that, and here's the thing. I don't remember if I didn't put it in my game key, but I thought I put Super Show in there too, which would have lowered it even more, I think.
Yeah.
I thought I put that in there, but
you need a separate sports entertainment score.
Well, Rumble Slam is fantasy and the board game and everything. But if we had things, we didn't review Guild Ball, and now it's kind of dead anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sports games. My point again is a lot of sports games. Are they really a sports game at its core, or does it happen to be a sport going on, but still
I'd say Blood Bowl's closer to a sports game than Blitz Bowl.
Of course.
Yeah. And Tecmo Bowl is the most straight up sportsy sports game
for
there
sure.
is.
Yeah. So I think that there's, I don't know. There's a lot out there that are on that.
And Guild Ball was basically kill the other player and maybe kick a ball in.
Right.
Yeah.
There wasn't
it was, and if it was a sport, it's soccer, and that's not a sport. So
no.
There's that too. So
Yeah.
you already have a disdain for the most popular sport in the world.
I do have 3 soccer jerseys.
Wow.
Oh.
Without getting into specifics, and I don't want to see pictures, how do you even look in a soccer jersey?
They do make 2X ones for Fat Boys. I have one that's sponsored by Sega Dreamcast. That's the only reason I bought it.
I had one of those.
Yeah, for Arsenal. Yeah.
But I don't want to rain on your parade, but just because it says 2X doesn't mean you're going to.
It is a European 2X, so it looks better on me now than it did maybe 3 years ago.
Okay. All right, then. Maybe Zlurp Nation might get a picture.
Yeah.
Pick something.
How about this? Preview. Next episode, I'll wear it.
All right. I like that.
And I have one that's, I forgot what team it is. I think it's the LA Galaxy FC or whatever, because they have YouTube as their sponsor.
Mm.
So I bought it because I like
real
YouTube.
big on you have to also approve on the sponsor as well as the team.
Yeah.
Like you won't get a Lakers jersey because wish.com.
Yes.
Even though you would think that's funny because as a goof, you're not buying stuff on wish.com.
No. such garbage. Like I wouldn't like if, for instance, you know how the Patriots play at the Fleet Center or something?
Yeah.
Or who plays the Fleet Center?
I don't know.
But that's an enema company. I'd wear it as a goof, but
is that what that fleet is, Enema, or is it like a different fleet?
Well, I think Fleet makes a lot of bio products, but that's what I know them for.
And can you put all of them in your butt?
I could,
You
yeah.
can put anything in your butt if you try hard enough.
That's good extreme. I mean, someone that scored these games so low, I'm surprised, frankly, that you've got that level of confidence in sticking things in your butt.
The Fleet
I would
Center.
think Mike would say, I could put anything in my butt if I put my mind to it. You would say, I don't even want to put things in my butt. I don't want to. Or, dare I say, you do the classic extreme thing. You start putting things in your butt, and then you pull it out before it gets too far.
Yeah, because I live in fear of anything that doesn't have a tapered end, because I don't want to go to the emergency room and explain why something's in my butt.
So, like the dragon dongs that have a knot on.
You walk in, oh, Mr. Mitchell, what is it this time?
I fell on another light bulb.
Yeah, right. Would you believe it happened?
Mr. Mitchell, is it animal, mineral, or vegetable?
All right, so now I'm going to look at battle games. I tried to look at games that were a lot of models on a table encompassing essentially what a war game is, even though everything's war gaming. So I put in here Legion, 40K, Kings of War, and I put Armada. Armada's a battle game at this point?
Yeah.
It's a battle.
Yeah.
Mike?
I mean, there's only have like 6 or 7 models, so you could argue it's a skirmish game, but
Don't you think it's intended to be a battle, though?
yeah, for sure.
The way I looked at it, and I haven't played and probably won't, but to me it was kind of like, if Epic just came out, you'd only have a few things for that too. But
Yeah.
in due time, the goal is to have a huge fleet.
And you could argue that Kings of War at its essence is a skirmish game because you have like 8-10 drops.
And you're counting wounds, you're not removing bodies.
True.
Yeah.
But when I say battle game, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
For the sake of arguments, we'll leave that in there. And on a battle game front, number 1 is Biran, 4.13.
Wow.
You love mass battle games, Biran. That's what the data tells me.
That's
You love
surprising
mass
because
battle.
I don't.
It is surprising.
But the data,
Yeah, I can't lie.
facts don't care about your feelings, Biran.
That's right.
Was Mike close? Because he said that he was on the fence there with Kings of War.
Yeah, he's second.
Second is Valdric, 3.88. I'm third, 3.75. Xtreme last, 3.13. Probably because of 40K. Right. Well, and Legion, did you drop too? Or you raise Legion?
I dropped it a little bit when I corrected it, but I think the only mass battle game that I really rated high was Kings of War.
Yeah, here's the problem with this category. There's only 4 games in the same.
So anything can skew it.
So if you dock 40K with a 1 or whatever, it's gonna show. So I hope this is on your permanent record, Xtreme. I mean, it can be changed. You have right access, but and the creator, you are the creator of the spreadsheet.
Can't change the YouTube video.
There we go. It's in there. So yeah, so Biran, you say you don't like them, but the stats are there. I think
high score for Battlefront, or Legion. Sorry, I gave a high score to Kings of War. I know.
If we reviewed Battlefront, you would
Yeah.
you would probably score that well too.
Yeah, it was fun.
Now we're going to go on to a lot of our viewers' favorite category, and a lot of our people here, skirmish games. Here I put Relic Blade, War Cry, Dead Zone, Frostgrave, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Kill Team, what's DA? Dracula's America, and Necromunda. So there are 8 skirmish games. 8 skirmish games in our review. Anyone want to guess who has the highest overall score?
I'm gonna go with JP because I'm looking at the spreadsheet and cheating.
It is. I was surprised to see that.
I was all over the place. Some of them were high, some were low for me.
Mike,
so.
there's something special about your ratings. I'm just going to throw it out there now because everyone's going to see it. Mike is the only one of us to not have a sad sack award in any category. Dare I say the truth, fanboy? I don't know. We're still fighting.
I think it's just of all 4 of us, who's the nicest?
just
but I mean,
you know.
but these are categories. It's not one
Right.
game.
But I think it's just his overall outlook on life.
I was shocked to see that. Not even a single category was the lowest. So we're looking at skirmish games. I got a 3.75. Next is Valdric 3.5. Then Biran 3.38. Xtreme 3.06. I have a feeling, I mean, there's 8 games in here. And I know Crisis Protocol, I love. Dead Zone, Kill Team, all got good scores from me. Relic Blade, Warcry, Necromunda didn't, but I think the other ones were enough to even it out.
Yeah, I think I rated Warcry really low because fuck that game.
Yeah.
This whole thing that you put together with the stats was kind of eye-opening for me because I thought that I would have rated high with skirmish games because I do prefer skirmish games, but I actually rated higher in a different category. And I don't know, maybe I learned something about myself.
Yeah, that's actually what I hope to find in this one. I hope that when you look at these numbers, because it just popped in my head to even do this. The whole time we were looking at it game by game. And that's great. That's what all of our episodes have been based on. But if you think about it, and it was very apparent in our last episode, you always talk about another game when you're talking about a game. It always happens. Every time we talk about any game, there's a comparison to something. Even our first one, there's, it's kind of like blah, blah, blah. People always say blah, 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 blah. It's always like something. And I'm like, well, if you take that idea and put like things together in a bit of a floating Venn diagram of sorts here, it is eye-opening. So yeah, Xtreme, I hope you did learn a lot about yourself, and we got more to learn. There's more to come. If we're looking at sci-fi based games, so this would be Legion, 40K. Oh, sorry, I skipped board games. Sorry. Board games / card games / games with grids. Because I put everything on here. Here's what I put on here because it's a gray area.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us would say games that are on grids are boring. So here's what I have. It's a lot. It's the biggest category, I think. Riot Quest, Underworlds, Rumble Slam, Blood Bowl, Blitz Bowl, Dread Ball, Super Show, board game, card game, Techno Bowl, Rivet Wars, Dungeon Saga, Battletech, Space Hulk. Board games / card games, all of them. Okay, I'm gonna just go with it. Highest score. Who thinks who you want to guess at the highest?
I know, but so I won't say.
It's Mike.
I'm gonna guess me just because
It is.
I'm the easy grader. As someone who grades for a living.
Yeah, Mike, 3.83, the highest. Then you have me, 3.71, Xtreme, 3.67, Biran, sad sack in the board game category, as probably expected, 3.29. Any words of wisdom of why the numbers, why they fell the way they did?
I think there are a couple games I rated really low there. I think it's also my disdain for the board game community.
Yeah.
The weird dice tower nonsense type people.
It is weird. You know, I don't know how this is going to be as time goes on, but if you look back at our 50 other episodes, we don't have a lot of thumbs down, which is nice. The ones we do have are on very clear board games, not miniature games, like Technobowl, that kind of thing. It is a different, you know, when we did our fandoms thing and ranking them, there is something different with the board game crowd. Now, to be fair, all things of the nerdery variety have shitbags, and nerds do ruin everything. Just want to make that clear. Whatever new thing you just got into, there's an entire group that's currently shitting on it right now. You're hyped up because you just got into it, but others are shitting on it right at this exact moment. Just like they say, there's like at this moment, there's a side chat about you that's happening. People are shit talking you right now. Same thing with something. So it happens.
Well, everybody but Mike. No one's shit talking Mike.
Oh, there are people shit talking me.
I'll tell you what. If there's no one shit talking Mike, then I believe Mike is internally shit talking himself. I believe there's an internal shit talking conflict that's at war every day. And I think at the heart of the matter is, why aren't people shit talking me? That's what I would say. Have I not made as much of an impact in, you know, students' lives? Wouldn't you think, Mike, that students, if they truly cared about you, they would shit talk you? You think?
They do say you smoke a lot of weed.
That's not shit talking.
Ironically, cool. Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds badass. So, of the board games, Mike, yeah, highest score there. Biran lowest. A lot of games went into that one. That was a tricky category because what is and what isn't. If you ask Xtreme, everything's a party game. I didn't put party game on there because that's a fucked up category anyway.
Oh, that's an ongoing joke. But
I agree. Let's move into the sci-fi universe. Games that fall into that category: Star Wars Legion, 40K, Dreadball, Dead Zone, Kill Team, Necromunda, Battletech, Space Hulk. This is one where the sad sack of this group has the lowest cumulative score of any category of games possible. So before we say what the score is, who do you think that person is?
Dreams.
Thank goodness for Space Hulk.
It's even with Space Hulk, it is extreme. 2.69. We know one thing, and that's a fact. Xtreme hates the future. Whether it's the green of the far future or the post-apocalyptic near future that could be like 3 years away, still hates it. You live in the present, and to an extent, Xtreme, I respect that.
I mean, I'm not super surprised. I definitely prefer fantasy games over sci-fi.
You find that in other genres like comics and TV too? Movies?
Okay. And this isn't one where you have to like one more than another. I like both. But what do you got there, Biran?
I got some Culver's cheese curds.
Oh, nice.
What?
Cheese curds.
And before you
Your
ask
Culver's beats my White Castle.
Yeah.
Before you ask Xtreme, you could put cheese curds up your butt. You can. You can.
Are they like fried cheese curds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can actually put a whole butter burger up your butt if you try hard enough.
It's already
yeah.
lubricated.
Yeah, it's already like
Buttered.
My new house has a Culver's close to it, and we eat there like once a week at least.
Yeah.
It's not good for my ability.
I got cheese curds because I also got a salad, so that counteracts it.
Never look at the stats of that salad. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and also I put double ranch dressing on it.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
hate which?
I hate sci-fi games. Apparently, I'm good with that.
You hate sci-fi games, but you like Culvers.
Which I still think the GW sci-fi games are probably skewing this because I gave Dreadball and Dead Zone a pretty good score, I believe.
You know what? All games are created equal, Xtreme. They all count for the same amount.
Sure.
Are you saying, by the way, I'm not saying this, but I'm asking you if you're saying this, that Mantic games should count less than Games Workshop games in a vote?
No, I'm saying they should
Okay.
count more because I rated the Mantic sci-fi games better than the GW sci-fi
Oh,
games.
well, yeah. Well, that's not going to happen.
I've already forgotten. Was I third or second higher?
No, you know what, Mike? You didn't forget. We didn't even say it. You're
Okay.
good. Highest score is me, 3.6. Then Biran, 3.5.
Yeah.
Mike, 3.4. So we're all right there.
Okay. Because I can generally see if any game, if it was identical games, but one was fantasy and one was sci-fi, I would definitely play the fantasy version.
All things considered, I'm usually more sci-fi, but it's close. It's like, 55%, 45%. You know what I mean? I don't hate. I still like fantasy a lot, but I think it's more common for people to prefer I like fantasy. I hate sci-fi. I think that's more common than being really into sci-fi and also fantasy. I don't know why. It just Mike, we used to play Warhammer Fantasy and that kind of thing. I liked all of it. It's just I always ended up leaning sci-fi in most of the games. I don't know why. Maybe the gun culture of America, people. I don't know. Just saying, too many movies. Those video games.
Crossbows don't do it for you?
What doesn't do it for me?
Crossbows and cannons?
No, Crossbows and Catapults is my favorite board game.
I remember that. I played in my friend's kitchen floor for a time back in the day.
Was that the one with where you actually shot the little marbles?
Yeah.
They were little discs.
Here's the thing. If a bow and arrow is good enough for Rambo, it's good enough for me too. Now, he's got a different kind of arrow than I would ever have. It's got different stuff on there. I mean, he did well with it. He was trained. I'm untrained.
Got a helicopter by himself.
Yeah. What can he do? That's how I learned everything I know about the Vietnam Wars from those movies. Half true. Let's go to fantasy games. There's a lot in this one too. Riot Quest. This was a hard one. Because I don't know it very well, I had to look. I'm like, I guess people consider Riot Quest fantasy. Am I wrong on that?
Steampunk
is it toes the line.
So I have 3 settings on here, or 4 rather: sci-fi, fantasy, western, and modern. Would Riot Quest fit into modern? No,
it would be its own if you did like a steampunk, which we wouldn't have enough to represent that because we're not weirdos.
We will though, because I did a western category. I did western category as a goof and put 1 game in there. So,
right. Well, it would be like games like Malifaux and.
Okay, you know what? For the next round in a year, we'll do a steampunk category for everybody. People are cheering right now. They're watching.
You're gonna cosplay it too?
I'll have to get a top hat.
You know what, Mike? I don't have to answer that right now. We got a year.
I threw my boiler hat away.
What Xtreme?
I threw my boiler hat away. I'll have to get a new costume.
Oh my God, you had one?
Yeah, Biran's going to say no at this moment. I'm not even saying no. I'm saying like your parents would say, we'll see. I'm not saying no, we'll see. Now, we all knew as a kid, we'll see, man, no. But
yeah.
You know what? I don't know. A cane and a monocle? We'll see. We'll see, Mike. Dollar General's probably got one of each. I'll take it. Nice plastic one to really piss the nerds off. So I put Riot Quest in there. We can also, but for sake of art, we'll leave it in because I don't want to.
Sure.
Warhammer Underworlds, Relic Blade, Rumble Slam, Warcry, Blood Bowl, Blitz Bowl, Frostgrave, Kings of War, Dungeon Saga, Armada. Fantasy games. Who has the #1 fanboy spot? You'd be right. 3.86. Who has the lowest? It's Biran. Now you're looking.
Yeah.
No, Biran, earlier you were like, I'm looking, I'm cheating. You know, you can actively stop cheating, right?
I can't though. It's compulsion.
I know. You didn't remember everything that you saw.
But anything that's going to include Warcry or Blood Bowl is going to be low for me because of those scores. I think.
You know what? You own up to it, right?
I do. I think I'm kind of where you are, where it's 55-45 sci-fi over fantasy.
Okay.
Remember, have you played Warcry or did you just not like the concept?
No, I played it. We played a campaign.
Oh,
No, you played Relic Blade.
I played. You
No, I
never
played Warcry.
Oh, no, Warcry. I'm thinking of Vanguard. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. I played Warcry 4 or 5 times. And
The symbols piss me off still.
Oh,
Oh, we don't
God.
want to print multiple languages. Shut up.
Warcry seems like a game that I designed, but I don't like playing.
I
Like,
still
that
all
was
these
Death
things
Path.
I did all, yeah, exactly. I did all these things where I pat myself on the back. Look at how innovative and cool I was and different. I don't want to play that all.
Even if you're from a third world country like Germany, you could still play it because it's all symbols.
Yeah.
before I dig too deep into Warcry, though, I always think like I'm attracted to those models so much. Those models are so cool. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like this game, and then I started getting a little into it. I'm like,
The
no.
models are the fantasy equivalent of how cool Necromunda models.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
They are the top of the line in that setting, which means they're the go-to for any other game except the one they're for to use.
Well, it even has that gang feel. It's like a fantasy
For me,
gang.
Yeah.
Frostgrave, immediately I would go to like the Warcry collection or even Underworlds even. Because they just have that, evoke that kind of look. Same with, Sci-Fi, Skirmish, and Necromunda. There's just something about them. So I think Warcry suffers from we want to like it, or I like the idea of it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely for me.
Yeah.
And they tricked us with D10s, or was that Kill Team?
There's no
that tricked
D10s.
us? Was it Kill Team that tricked us with D10s on the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because
When the
that's
box
like-
got announced, they showed D10s. We're like, ooh, a new dice mechanic.
Biran,
No,
how
it
else-
was just to generate names.
Right, how else will you find out the name of your models?
Yeah. I rolled it and I got Slippery Patel again.
So into fantasy, Mike's highest, then me, 3.68. Extreme just below 3.64, and Biran 3.41.
Still pretty
quickly-
close across the board on that one.
It was
though.
pretty close there, yeah. Quickly, Western game category, there was only one game in there, so it was Dracula's America. And
That's why it was such round numbers.
Right, you guys all gave 4 and I gave 3.5. So last, I just put kind of a catch-all modern setting, things that are sort of in the relative current / I don't know what,
Near future or current.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put like Rivet Wars because it's based off of sort of that real time. I guess we could put historical maybe in episode 100 when we get to it, but
That could be steampunk along with
Steampunk,
Rivet
yeah.
Wars.
oh yeah, great
Yeah.
point. So I put Rivet Wars, Techno Bowl, obviously, and Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah.
And just by those 3 alone, we have some very high skewed. I have 4.1 for me, and then 3.83 each for Extreme, and Valdric Biran low is 3.6. But 3 games, small sample size on that one, and it could only be 2 games really. Because Rivet Wars, you're right, that could be a non. So we'll see. We'll do some more next time, but kind of a fun, eye-opening little experiment. I think Extreme learned something about himself.
But
I
I
think
was not
Mike-
the top of any category.
No,
Western
I-
games, you were tied with us for the single game.
Right, you were number 1 for Westerns, Extreme. So Extreme learned something about himself. Valdric appreciates the scientific method. Biran's a cheater and didn't want to play the fucking game the right way, and I spent an hour doing it.
Mhm.
So now this is going to happen. Season 2 preview of this show. Fellas, we've covered a lot in the past year. A lot. It went from Biran asking for, can I get the old episodes to whack off to me saying, no, we have new material for you to, whatever's coming out, if it's dust, whatever you can get to come out, we got new material to make that happen. And that's how Zlurpcast TV was born. People like Todd from Gardner Games appreciates when we reference those kinds, especially when his name is next to a sexual joke. He likes that.
All ages.
This show's for everybody. Very inclusive, I think. We kept the old Blood Bowl crowd, some of them. Some of them said no thank you. And by the way, I saw who said no thank you because the unsubscribes in the Zlurp Nation was telling me who said no. You. But in season 2, we got a lot more to cover. We're not going to revisit any games, most likely. We might.
Just a major new edition, maybe, or
a major revamp of rules. But like 40K 8 to 9 is essentially the same game.
Mhm.
We didn't review Judgment. We're going to review Judgment. We're waiting till a new one. I think that would have been enough for if we did one in the first realm, a new one. But I mean, probably won't revisit, but we've got a nice group here. I'm going to throw some things out there. I'm going to throw some names, and you guys afterwards tell me what games you think you're really excited about talking about. And also, as we get into more people getting back to normal, actually playing the games. Weird concept. Talking about the games, everyone does it. Playing the games, only some people do it. Wild West Exodus, Imperial Assault, Drop Zone Commander. These are all dead games, by the way, so far. Stargrave, not even out yet. Judgment, new version coming out. Age of Sigmar, okay. Thriving or Dying. You tell me. We'll find out.
I don't see it played very much, but I've not been at the store that often. So
War Machine, maybe like a combo Gaslands, Devil's Run, Car Wars, and whatever the other one is that I can't think of. Apocalypse, Warpath, whenever that comes out. Infinity, we might have to call someone in.
call some anime weirdo in, yeah.
Call somebody with a bunch of totes. Dust, X-Wing, Descent could be a combo with Imperial Assault, very similar game. Ice and Fire miniatures game, Walking Dead, Cursed City, the new Warhammer Quest game. We could even do Hero Quest as well. Old World, whatever that's going to be, and Kings of War Vanguard. What of that list for you fellas jumps out at you? Mike, why don't you kick it off with one or two that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Vanguard because they just basically took the rule book, they cleaned it up because there were some kind of weird terminology and whatnot, and there was a supplement called Fire and Iron or something like that came out with no fanfare, and they're going to incorporate that into the new rule book. Also, Song of Ice and Fire, because I really enjoy that, and what was the third one?
Oh, the other one probably for you.
Judgment,
yes, because I have been a huge proponent of the grid system or the hex system, and the new miniatures I was really on the fence about, but the ones that they've at least shown like previews of, Creature Caster has shown an incredible restraint, and they look like real miniatures as opposed to a miniature with 1,000 different buckles and,
the Rob Liefeld miniature.
Yeah. They don't have like the Brock looks like a dwarf with an axe who's going to kill you, not a dwarf with 20 pouches. And
the big
wizards don't have 30 spikes on them and all of that. So
are all those the big model just sized down, or are they resculpt?
Totally resculpted.
Wow, that's going to be a fun one. I think. I'm
hoping.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of salt on this one from us, but
But we might invite someone who's salty.
If you brought in like somebody whose name starts with an S, and ends
a good S, not a bad S, a good S.
Starts with an S, ends with R, has pence in the middle.
Yes.
He's never been described that way, I bet. Now he's got to rethink his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
There might be salt, because imagine acquiring the entire line of 54 millimeter models at that cost and paying them all to pro painter levels, only to
get this shit out of here. Yeah.
And Mike, Vanguard, I'm looking forward to along with you. Got the book. Smells really good. I don't know if you guys have had a whiff lately. Now, I might smell good because I never open it. It might have just kept. Like when Biran sells his underwear on eBay, he puts them in Ziploc right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got to keep that in there.
He wants them to keep. Like, I think it's kind of like that. This might only be the third opening. That's what she said. But I played twice with Tyler here. It was pretty good. It was a good game. I think we left some stuff out though. I think we.
And you said the size, the map was
played on a full board.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah,
3x3.
I want to give it a better chance though. And by the way, I got the dice. They stole them from Death Path, by the way.
Yeah,
they're the same fucking swords that I drew. Stolen. They stole that and the Zlurp Max energy drink. I want that on record. Biran, what of the list I mean, I can go over it again if you want, but what are you looking forward to?
Like Mike, I'm going to put Judgment on the list because, like my big problem with Judgment, aside from the one guy who plays it who I don't like in our local community.
Wait, you have one person who plays it and you don't like him?
Yes.
Before you say anything else, Mike, before you said no one's shit talking you.
Exactly.
It's happened just now.
No.
Before your eyes.
Mike knows who I'm talking about.
No, but you said there's one guy who plays and you hate him.
Well, there's like 3 guys who play on the regular locally.
I thought you meant there's one guy who plays, period.
No.
It's kind of like Let's Eat, Grandma, without the
33% of the people that play the game locally I dislike.
Okay, fair enough. Are you in that?
No. So it's Mike I like, Tony I like.
Who's the other? Ryan Croson?
No.
Because he watches this, and I like you, Ryan.
Yeah.
We like
Ryan's my favorite. I would never pick him.
I thought Mike's your
No,
favorite.
it's a Chad. It's one of those Chads.
Yeah.
Is that like a Karen? Is that like a name?
Yeah. But
Isn't
Chad
that
has kind of more of a macho implication, but I don't think he'd be macho if you're using miniatures painted by your wife.
Well, I mean, I'm wealthy enough to buy miniatures painted now. Am I not macho? Wait,
Did Heather paint them?
Painting miniatures makes you macho.
Yes. It's so sexy.
What the fuck world are you living in?
Well, Mike paints his own and Brian paints his own, and they're the 2 sexiest here.
Brian doesn't play games.
No, he's more of a craftsman.
He's a talker.
Craftsman.
Like we have growers and showers, we have players and talkers. Xtreme is a talker.
And I don't even like games that much.
Biran,
But like you, I think, did you have the same issue I had where the movement was super fussy?
The original?
Yeah.
Well,
people are starting to put placeholder things and pre-measuring.
Yeah, I played in a tournament at Adepticon 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know what fucking year it is anymore.
Those are the ones. Jeffro painted your stuff for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Not your wife, so it's still macho.
Yeah. But so Jeffro's very, very macho in your eyes?
No, he's not.
I think he is. Because he's watching. Yeah, Jeffro painted 3 models, and I gave him the rest of them. I said, "You take these."
Take the shit out of here.
And that was an awesome trade-off. You know, there's going to be a little bit of remember in first edition, but it's not going to matter that much anymore because it's on a grid now, right? It's on hexes, and it was fussy. The tournament I played in, people were using like War Machine markers.
Yeah.
Because it's connected to that crowd. Xtreme, would you agree that from your War Machine background that's Judgment is an overlap?
It's a very precise measurement game, right?
Yeah, I believe the people that designed Judgment came from a War Machine background. So that
Sure, yes.
A lot of that carried over.
Makes sense. And then broke away from that with the new one, it looks like. So I'm going to look into it. I'm excited to hear about the grid and new models. Are they plastic or resin?
Resin.
Yeah, Creature Caster's all resin, aren't they?
It's all resin, yeah.
But I think the resin's pretty good from what I've seen.
The few I've got 3 Creature Caster models, and they're all really good resin. But they're resin. And they're also, the ones I have are big.
Oh, yeah, because you have the unclean one and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And big mega demons, not, 32 mil. But
I'm excited to see the, who's the guy? It's the Minotaur that's like got a gun.
Oh, he's got a chainsaw gun.
Yeah.
Or a circular saw gun.
Not Kurgan, that's Highlander, something like that though.
yeah, it's Corgan or something like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that model, and that might be chunky enough where I'm pretty safe.
And so
I will
the
tell
creativity on the models is great.
The original Judgment models,
Even the 2 Minotaurs I have seen are both really good.
the original Judgment models, the big ones, 54. Some I really enjoyed. Some I got the fire girl from the original box set. All knuckles. They were all broken.
Sausage fingers.
They were broken upon opening the box.
Yeah.
All broken because they put fingers out and they were like tiny. They shouldn't have been like that.
Every Brock axe is broken off, I think, too.
Yeah, Brock broke for me. The guy with the staff, one of the sides broke off for me. Bastion, one broke off for me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of issues with that, and it's like, you know, Xtreme, I think when you first showed me the game, because you saw it at Epicon, or maybe you heard about it first, but you brought me over there. We were all psyched. We bought models right away. But people's biggest complaint were, I'm spending $50 for a model, and then to know it could break easily like that, that was a huge turnoff to a lot of people at that time. And I hope they bounce back with a new edition.
I think just by the physics, the smaller scale will make them less breaky.
And the fact that you're just moving hex to hex and you're not handling it as much.
Yeah.
So how many people are going to sit out there and then put little dice as placeholders on all the hexes they could move to? You know the type.
Biran, is that really physics, by the way?
Yes. The shorter the shape, it has a higher coefficient of rigidity, so therefore it's sturdier.
Okay. I mean,
I learned that from Wildcats, the movie with Goldie Hawn, where she coaches a football team.
That's the best place to learn physics.
Mm-hmm.
I think mentally the players aren't very stable, but
no.
I think, you know, models are. What else on the list, Biran, are you looking forward to?
I'm curious about the Imperial Assault / Descent, because I've owned Descent for probably a decade and never even opened it.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of the linen covered boards.
We're going to get into all that. I know Xtreme may be getting a little Space Hulk defensive right now. I see it.
And maybe you could kind of see the background. I got a bug on my butt to start painting my Zombicide Walking Dead edition.
Zombicide would be very good because we can combine all the editions and talk about after the list. I'll give you a little teaser on the Imperial Assault one. I don't even have it anymore.
After we're getting Sarlo to paint all that stuff for you, and
here's what I did though. By the way, that funded an entire Legion army. Fully painted.
Yeah.
Wow. I made a promise with Sarlo. Because he said, if you ever get rid of it, I want first dibs. And I gave it to him. He said he couldn't, I forgot the reason. But
something, my cat is sick or
couldn't swing. Yeah, couldn't swing.
Couldn't dib it. Yeah.
Then I went to Todd and he kind of said, nah, not interested right now. I'll tell you what I got for it. It was $600 for the lot.
That's good.
I hoped for 800. I would have settled for 400. So it was right there.
Yeah.
I got enough. Here's the funny thing.
Because you had every expansion, didn't you?
I had every expansion, and they were all painted to tabletop.
Right. I saw them. They look good.
Yeah, they look good. I put them all out there on eBay, and didn't really get any nibbles at the higher amount. Brought it down a little bit. This dude does an offer. I accept it for the 600, and I think I put. I know this ticked off probably a lot of people looking at it, but since because there's a whole episode we could do talking about selling models and whatever, but basically I do free shipping now because I know people are conditioned to ignore things that have shipping amounts now because we're all spoiled with Amazon and have been for years. So now I cover the shipping. And if I'm covering the shipping, you ain't getting the boxes. And I know board game people love their boxes.
Yep.
I said, you ain't getting the boxes because I priced it out with the boxes and I priced it without. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's like fucking $150 for shipping that I'm paying and no one's going to pay. Whereas I can do $50 for shipping or whatever, 40, whatever it was, in all wrapped. I wrapped every model. It was still perfect, but no boxes. And by the way, I threw in one box because I put the manuals in one that fit in my bigger box. So we got one for free. But anyway, funny story. He accepts the offer. I'm like, great, sounds good. I'm like, packing it all up now. He asks me 10 questions from the point of sale after he paid throughout the entire night. Now, what's the quality like? I'm like, well, I have more pictures. It's already packed up. I have more pictures. I can only put 12 on eBay. I took 40. Here's a Dropbox link. Oh, thank you. They look great. Thank you. Do you have boxes with those? Nope. Here's the excerpt from the ad. It said, no boxes. Trying to save shipping. Oh, okay. Are you sure you have all the expansions? Yep. I put on there, here are all the expansions ready.
Like, did he buy something for $400 without even checking?
$600 even.
$600.
And there's one caveat I did put in there that said, I am missing 2 cards. There are 2, and I did the research. I found a wiki of where they put all the card images up. I found the 2. I said, I'm sorry. I'm normally very good about it, but I just don't have. Here are the 2. Luckily, they weren't. They were like kind of like shitty weapons, like dagger. Like it wasn't anything that was game changing, but I was upfront about it. And then it was, can you tell me what's missing again? Yeah, no problem. I had the super long ad. I was fearing the I want my money back question coming up. It never happened. Never got a review, a positive feedback, by the way, but it did sell for 600, funded a fully painted clone army, which is great. It is still a great game. I also own Descent as well. They're both great games, and they're almost the same. It is literally Frostgrave is to Stargrave.
Yeah, the skin.
Imperial Salt.
Yeah,
it is that like the exact same example of how close it is. And in fact, Imperial Salt even tweaked a couple of the wording of like line of sight and whatnot, but it's still the same game. They just kind of almost like Star Wars reskin, Sci-Fi because more guns, and tweaking of rules, and that was the game. They're both the same. They're both an RPG light. But
I was flicking through the Zombicide box, and there's two rules. There's the Night of the Living Dead mode and a more of a traditional Zombicide mode, which is kind of interesting. That they at least took that extra step to differentiate it, aside from just the models being different.
Yeah, they Zombicide is such a dedicated fan base.
Yeah,
that I really do think that they listen to them because every edition, and I'm not even like a huge Zombicide like fan. I like the game. I've played it, but I don't own any of it. But I've followed every one. Like when Black Plague came out, I noticed they really did make an effort to first have fun with it. Everything's always like tongue in cheek.
Yep.
There's like, fake Arnold Schwarzenegger, fake Ash. They're all like fake Monty Python. They're all like these characters they have that you can put in the games. So I would love to do a Zombicide episode. That'd be kind of fun to do.
Yeah, and I just the components are always good quality from them. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to give it a try.
Yeah, I think I would definitely like to delve into the board game with miniatures. I like Blood Rage a lot, so I would like to maybe even look into that at some point. So
the Chow, it's right up there.
Is it up here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I put bigger games by my figures, so I don't lose another one when they fall down.
Yeah.
Xtreme, what games on that list are you looking forward to talking about?
I'm excited about none of them. I'm curious about a few. I'm curious about Curse City and Old World. I'm curious about Dust because what I know of the mechanics, I think I would like the play style, but I don't really know.
You would like Dust Tactics though, right?
Not Warfare.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but
one's a board. The Dust Tactics is on squares, and Warfare is the battle game.
I think you would much prefer Dust Tactics, knowing what I know about you. I think I would prefer that too. I never really got into it, but I watched enough to.
I bought a lot of it when it was getting blown out by Miniature Market.
Didn't you buy? Was it? What store had that? It was like half price, right?
Miniature Market, yeah, and it included the premium, the pre-painted stuff.
Yeah,
which was not just it. The pre-painted stuff looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm also curious about Apocalypse because you guys have sold it to me very well. I'm curious about listening to it at least to see what it is, how different from 40K it is.
Okay.
And I'm afraid of talking about War Machine.
Well, you're going to be the lead on that one.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid.
Are you afraid of? Do you want to get into any of your fears? So maybe by the time we do the episode, I can do my best to.
I don't know.
Them?
I mean, there's aspects of the game that I still really like, and there's aspects of the game that I loathe. And I know that it's going to be a hard sell to the other people on the show.
Well, you're not trying to sell it, though.
I know, but I mean,
you have no investment if we gave it a low score.
That's true. But I mean, whenever you take the lead on something and you're like the lead of the show, then you're trying to present it.
That's a fair point. No one's taking the lead from a negative side.
I played this game and it sucks, and I'm going to convince you.
I've played this game 1,000 times for 20 years, and here's why I fucking hate it. Like, why did you play so much?
Yeah.
That's awful. Yeah, I get that. I think enough time has passed though, where we've made our jokes even on old Zlurpcast before this incarnation. We did our War Machine. Which War Machine was this and all that? I think it's fine. I think we can honestly look at it from a relatively objective. Biran's going to critique the players, the fiddlediness, I believe is your token word, and
Fussiness.
not fussiness, not painting models. I don't know if he's going to rip apart the rules without reason.
There's a new way of playing War Machine that's becoming more and more popular all the time. It's called Brawl Machine, and
You
I
played
think
in the
that
nude?
that is the way to play the game. It's a smaller scale than normal, which
Wasn't War Machine supposed to be smaller scale to begin with?
to begin with, yes.
It started off that way, and then it became.
Yeah, I remember going to DepthCon, like going into the War Machine room, like,
Exactly.
what's with all these infantry models?
It was pitched to me as a skirmish game. You have like 4 or 5 models. Your caster,
Big stompy robot, your leader.
Yeah. And that's how it was pitched to me like 10 years ago, or maybe, I don't know, maybe longer. Probably longer.
They just kept like adding little things as game companies do, and then eventually it became a huge game.
Well,
Is it currently being supported?
Yeah. Question mark. Yes.
Well, okay. All right. We'll talk about that. So
without conventions and stuff, because it is so much of a competitive game now, it's hard to say whether it's really supported or not. But it does feel like they're angling towards other interests. But then the Brawl Machine has really come from a fan base creation. And now Privateer Press is kind of like, oh, hey, a lot of people seem to like this. We're going to kind of embrace it a little bit, but not completely yet.
I mean, they can't abandon their top property. That's
right. And I think that's probably the only reason they haven't, is because if they did, then they would piss off so many people that would be it.
Okay. Maybe we'll get you that press ganger job one of these days.
They got rid of the press gangers, so
doesn't mean you can't still wear the badge.
I still have a shirt.
You have a shirt, Mike?
Oh yeah, I'll wear it next week.
Okay.
If I can find it.
Yeah, you got to dig that one up.
It's got a lot of holes in it, but yeah.
Okay. Xtreme. So, may I ask, if you weren't excited about any games, just curious, what are 1 or 2 games that you would get excited about that we should probably? And by the way, any of us could add it to the list. I want to throw that out there. Even Mike, I believe, can add it to the list. But
it's wide open.
Wide open. What out there?
I can't think of any game that would excite me. I'm curious about several games. I'm curious about new games I haven't played, Stargrave, stuff that's coming out. But I'm not really excited about anything that we haven't already talked about.
Okay. Well, guess what? We're going to get you excited.
All right. Anything I'm curious about, I'm willing to be excited. I'm just not going into it excited.
Are there any on here that you're not even curious about that? Because now you've piqued that question.
Yeah.
What? Name names.
Drop Zone. I've already Age of Sigmar. Warpath. Infinity.
Well, Warpath isn't out yet, so hold your judgment.
This is actually, well, we will hold judgment probably before Warpath.
Yes.
I believe this is actually not Warpath. This is Warp Ath. It's a different game.
Oh.
The dash is different. It's Warp.
Well, that sounds. I'm curious now.
Yeah, I bet you would. There's not a lot of games about warp, about warping somewhere. Yeah, Xtreme. I would think you'd be curious because for a time you and I were collecting Ice and Fire miniatures.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like I dabbled and then sold off, so I'm no longer curious about it. I've kind of already made my judgment.
You're seriously telling us and yourself that once you've dabbled and then de-dabbled, there'll never be a dabble again?
I made that assumption, or I'm sure with that game that there will not be another dabble.
I'm calling bullshit on that. How many times you've dabbled in the 40K universe? How many times? How many dabbles? 10 dabbles at least.
Too many dabbles. Too many dollars.
What about would it be a Schomburg dabble? Would you be willing to dabble in Schomburg?
From dollars to dabbles, how many times?
With A Song of Ice and Fire, I don't think I would dabble again, even in Schomburg.
Okay.
I think I've made my assumption.
Nor would I. So
I'll tell you why you're probably right on this one. because I think you've declared Kings of War is going to be your game to fill that hole. If you want said hole filled. I'm not saying you even want the hole filled, but if you did, it's filled with cow. And not
Or what if
with,
what if Old World comes out and it's an amazing, like, epic scale, fast to play?
It won't be, but
It won't be. We can only dream.
There's always that option, but I don't have faith it will fill that hole. I think Kings of War is going to fill that hole more than.
if you're
Old World.
typing about it online, would you just put OW, OW for Old World? Or is it going to be like a
Cow
longer
versus cow.
it'll
Right,
be
that- that's
Warhammer
what's
Old
up.
World.
It'll be called Old Hammer.
name? I like when
That's what they'll
people
call it.
put, yeah, I'm really playing SIOF. That's what that is. SIOF. What is that
That's a
word?
really long title, though. It's okay to shorten that one up.
And everyone says Game of Thrones anyway, so whatever. I'll tell you.
I wonder how much my disdain or disinterest in the Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire is because of how badly that series ended.
I think they lost a lot of people. But I also think that the majority of people who played already said, I'm a book person anyway.
Yeah.
Because you've already got to the point where the miniatures had the likeness of the book characters and any art based off the books, the card game. There was no Peter Dinklage in the game. They had a very fucked up looking Tyrion. So
Peter
so I think-
Dinklage is a handsome little person.
yeah, I think people already that are playing that have already been okay with separating it. But I bet they did lose some.
Yeah.
They also, I think, lost some because there was a weird schedule of releases that didn't make sense for a while.
And there's a version 2.0 coming out very soon.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah.
So there's that whole, well, we're not going to do anything until 2.0 comes out. So we're just.
And I'm sure we'll get into it more on the episode, but at one point when it was released, they were at a very specific time point in the story.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everything's going to happen in this time. And then they started like skewing that. And I was like, that's a good decision, but you should have just started with that we're just going to be all over the place, play whatever you want.
It probably had to do with their licensing agreement. It was probably more of a legal thing than
That, or I mean, if you think about it, though, it seems strange to right off the bat say we're not going to go into this or this. We're only right here, because imagine if any, not just any game with like the Star Wars IP ever did that. I mean, in Legion, they're coming out with models from Rogue One, characters from Rogue One.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, a lot of the look, you could say, well, a lot of it is, this is Return of the Jedi. It's like, well, it's close enough where it fits in. I think they're going with that because.
Well, clones versus rebels. I mean, it's stuff that
Well,
didn't happen, but who
when it
cares?
came out, it was supposed to be like right before, spoiler, Robert Baratheon dies. That was when it was supposed to be the time period, that moment.
And it was always weird because if you do that, if I understand historically it makes sense, but the first thing everyone's going to say is, I want what I can't have. Like, I want this stuff over here. I want dragons. I want giants.
Right.
And you're
Exactly.
telling them they're not going to
Now-
get that. But then later you give it to them anyway. Like, where are we?
Well, because
Well-
you want dragons and you want all these huge armies. You want the Unsullied. You want all these things. But then, I also want Ned Stark to be alive and well. Do you though? By the way, I cut my model's head off. Stay true to it. Mike, did I get you that the mountain that rides before?
Yes, you did.
Okay, before I unloaded the rest, I kept that because
Yes.
I knew that was too good to give to the world. That
Exactly.
only went to
That had
Mike.
to stay in the
Not
family.
legal to play with it. I don't care.
Well, I don't think you can even fucking buy that model, right?
No.
You can't buy it except in
Nope.
the aftermarket. Crazy. That's
Yep.
insane to me. That a model like that you can't buy. That's people that do Kickstarters, they love like Kickstarter exclusive. At a certain point, everyone gets stuff, and you just got to be okay with that. They stuck to their guns on that one.
Yep. Oh yeah. I kept waiting
Yeah.
for it. I'm like, nope.
That's insane because you can sell that model for $80 probably in a store. So for me, I'm actually looking forward to the ones I actually played. It's because I can speak to those, and most of them I had a good experience with. But I'm also looking forward. So for those would be the Walking Dead miniatures game, another Mantic game that I think deserves an episode. Judgment. I'm okay whether we have a drop zone episode or not. I still have all my stuff, and I still would like to play, but it's like beyond dead right now. Imperial Assault Descent. I would like to do WoW's Exodus because I played both versions, first and second. Apocalypse. So pretty much all of them, except War Machine for sure. So I don't care about that. But I might, if Xtreme sells me on it. And I think, and Xtreme I haven't played enough. If we do one on that, maybe Biran could,
I haven't played the new edition at all.
I didn't even know there was a new edition. So you got
like you had to get conversion kits for your models. It's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, I spelled Judgment with an E. Is that right? I put an E in mine. Is that correct or no? I don't think it is. I think Judgment with no E is correct, but the game has an E, I believe.
It's the Australian spelling.
Is that like when Vince McMahon put an extra Z on the end of Taz, the trademark Taz, since he couldn't get the original Taz for obvious reasons?
Or from Hulk.
Mike looks like he's on the internet right now. Well's firing up right now.
I never even noticed that.
While he's doing that,
yeah, I never even noticed that because I can't spell with a shit. But
so I believe the game has an E, so that's why I have an E. But I don't believe the true spelling of Judgment does not have an E. I don't believe. I think Ryan and I talked about that at Grognard when we first got the game. We were like, "What the fuck is with this box? Already a typo on day one? What is this, Games Workshop?" Gotcha.
I never noticed that. Wow.
Yeah.
Australia is a lawless land. What do you expect?
Yeah. Who's to blame for that?
The UK.
Yeah, the UK.
Curse City, I definitely look forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Those models, I just saw today the names of those models, the tongue guy and all
What is
that.
Curse City?
What?
What is Curse City?
It's Warhammer Quest. Like close to what people want in their head from Warhammer Quest as we've seen so far.
So not Silver Tower, more.
You know what? We should do a Warhammer Quest episode that includes talk about all of them.
Yeah.
I bought Silver Tower, but I never did much with it.
No. I haven't bought a Warhammer Quest since it came with a barbarian, an elf, a dwarf, and a wizard. It was a lot of fun back in the day. So Warhammer Quest will be the episode. I'm not looking forward to Warpath because who will lead? Who will? If we're dancing the Warpath dance, who leads?
Pat.
Oh, Warpath. Then an H. That's a great idea. Biran, since you seem to be the booker, if you want to, I wouldn't mind having Pat. Let's talk about that real quick. So, which of these show topics should we add on an expert witness, so to speak? Warpath, Pat.
Judgment
Spencer.
Good Spencer.
Yeah, good Spencer for Judgment. Yeah.
Xtreme, are you confident? Take the lead on War Machine, or do you have to bring in a ringer?
I mean, we could bring Spencer back for War Machine and double up on him.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that.
Someone who's less bitter about it, maybe.
I bet he is bitter about it.
He's loving Brawl Machine.
What's that?
He's loving Brawl Machine right now.
Oh, someone who's
Which
actually.
I think I would too if I had people to play with. But,
I talked to Spencer for a bit at an Adepticon many years ago. He was demoing a game. He was in such a shit mood. I hope he's watching now because maybe Spencer you'll know, put in the comments what year it was and why you were. But you were a volunteer to demo all day, and I think I gave him the "what does it pay" before we even knew that was a meme thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was just in like such a shit mood because he's spending so much energy trying to sell this game to people. Meanwhile, he could have stayed a player and enjoyed himself. So I'd love to hear that perspective as well. That should be a non-game episode. Game volunteer. And
I'm curious to know. I have no way of fathoming what that's like.
Yeah, I would we have a lot of us have a lot to talk about on that. But why volunteering to champion a game could actually, like, instead of championing it on your own accord, champion it based on for the company. why that could sour you on the game.
Right. Like doing it at Grognard's, when Todd asked us, hey, can I let normies come in? Sure. Especially when he was first open.
Yeah.
Doing it for the company at a
Right.
con, hell no.
If Pat asked you to run a tournament and just like that day you got mad about something in the game, you still have to go out there and put on a happy face, and that could definitely mess with your head a bit. That's a good episode. We'll add that in. Any of us could add that in. Speaking of games, of non-review games, we're going to talk about running tournaments, painting tips and tricks. Xtreme, we'll leave that in. I want Mike to talk too about how he speed paints at a high level, because that's a great thing to know. Fantasy casting continued. More, who would we be in this group? More of that. What was the one that came up that triggered this? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, Joe, wasn't it?
No, we did that already.
Was it wrestlers?
We did that one already. Something recently came up.
Oh, recently.
Yeah, recently, where it triggered the idea, the need for another one. Forgot what it was. It was something, who would we be in that though? I'd like to do maybe like, if the game fits, a virtual playthrough of it where we can show cards, whatever. Most games don't lend themselves to it, but I've got one that might. I'd like to do maybe an unboxing, especially if one of us or more than one of us gets a game, then we save it. Like Biran saves up a load. It's like that.
You can't save it too long, because then you'll have a nocturnal emission.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think Cursed City might be the one.
Yeah. I think probably you and I will both get it.
I would like.
Believe me, I'm going to get it based on the miniatures alone.
I'd like to get in on that one too. That's a good one. Xtreme.
Yeah.
Let me see if he came in the bathroom.
Oh God.
Brian Edward Mitchell. Brian Stephen Mitchell. Brian Octavius Mitchell. Brian Thaddeus.
Steven?
What is it? Steven's his dad's name, so I thought maybe.
I have no idea.
All right. Well, he'll be in too. Maybe we'll unbox that big boy he's got up there on the top shelf.
Or his Funkos.
Yeah.
We should do a fundraiser to upgrade his Funkos to real action figures.
Or just, you and I just drive to his house without him knowing.
And just take them and throw them in the trash.
Why don't we break in,
box
open
them, and then put it up front 1 week? Yeah.
Just throw the boxes away and just put the dolls out. Yeah, I said dolls.
Yeah.
On the shelf.
Let's see if he knows.
Oh, Xtreme. Did you hear what you said?
Shush. Shush.
Don't say. Are you in though, Xtreme?
All right.
Yep.
We have volunteers. We already have that on there.
Oh.
Yes, we did. Basing models. We've got some good takes on that one.
What does Xtreme always say? What wins contests? Bases and faces?
Yep.
I've now gone into anything sci-fi related. I base black and dry brush gray.
Yeah.
I keep it very simple, and it all blends together. And no matter, I used to try mud with these guys and grass with these guys, and I just don't like it anymore.
One thing I like about games that are more board game-ish, like for instance, Blitz Bowl, is I don't feel compelled to base them, so I just paint them like Eshin gray.
Because you're so sure you won't play Blood Bowl.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, Blitz Bowl.
No, I know.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to use them on
a
Blood Bowl pitch, right?
Like, I don't have any Blitz Bowl teams. I have Blood Bowl teams that I'm going to use half the models for.
Yep.
You don't, though. You
right.
have Blitz Bowl only teams.
I also have 2 really well painted Blood Bowl teams, one from you, one from Xtreme.
Mm-hmm. Xtreme is better.
Oh, and mine is a half War Machine models.
Oh yeah.
You might get a couple.
I like the vampire chicks with the big boobs, the best.
You might get a couple sour looks at the Blood Bowl table when you pull those models out. Blood Bowl coaches are very
persnickety.
They don't mind remarking on every model in your team and whether they approve or not.
Interesting model user for a thrall.
Interesting take on that. Phased out armies, games, ideas, settings. That's a good one. And Quick Hits Volume 3.
And probably a 4.
And a 4. Maybe even a 5, because that comes next. Anything else, guys?
No. I'm excited for year 2.
Yeah, season 2. It's I don't think since the early Zlurpcast Blood Bowl tournament only days have we had a guaranteed renewal of a second season. but we got one.
I was wondering, like, is there any historical? Do we know how many episodes we've made of Zlurpcast total?
I mean, the old ones or the new ones?
Well, we had like season 1, season 2 of Zlurpcast as an audio, and now on YouTube.
Yeah. So roughly the old podcast, both the 1 and 2, is in around the 80-ish mark, 70 or 80. And then there's 50 of these. By the way, 50 of these in 1 year.
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah. One positive. One COVID positive.
Well, let's list the COVID positives. Less handshakes, more personal distance, and Zlurpcast TV.
It's definitely positives. Working from home for a lot of people has been a positive.
Right. Yeah.
Having whatever company they work for now rethinking is
Why do we make you come in?
Well, it's a plus and a negative. It's both, because there's going to be more people working from home some of the time or all the time. That also means, you know what? These 10 people, 5 could do the job. Now they're remote.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in the group of 5, you're happy. If you're in the group of the other 5, you're not happy because you don't have a job anymore. That's going to happen.
Also, remember when people freaked out about plastic straws before this? You don't hear that anymore.
You know, here's another one. I was always like washing my hands before I eat. Food gets brought into the radio studio. Radio is like the dirtiest job outside of like schools and stuff. You know, it's like this germ content's out of control on the board you're touching. Food comes in, I wash my hands, or even sanitizer. You're like, oh, JP's got to go. It's like, yeah, motherfuckers. Oh, now washing hands is in. Oh,
You were
yeah.
cutting edge.
I was.
I liked washing hands before it was cool.
I did. Now, I also got sucked into a lot of handshakes as the guy people want to meet. I don't want to go back to that. I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't want to go back to that. But I'll tell you, it was always on my mind. Like, I'd be at an event and like, what's up, man? Listen every day, you know, bring it in, man. And then someone's like, we got pizza. And everyone's just grabbing at it. I'm like, I got to hit the bathroom, guys. I got to wash my hands. Like, you know how many people I just interacted with? So I was already conscious of it, but I don't want to go back to always touching. We'll find out. I'm a hugger. People that say that, I'm a hugger. It's like,
Are we going to discuss games that have a handshake beforehand and games that don't?
And when you have to do it per the ritual.
well, what if Biran said, I love Blood Bowl. However, the handshake requirement is an automatic no. And I can't play.
Right.
We would never know, Biran, if you loved Blood Bowl secretly.
Sorry, I have leprosy.
Right. Or maybe you do. Maybe the guy you're playing does.
That probably does.
Probably.
Crippling diabetes and leprosy.
Xtreme, are you talking?
Yeah, I think your noise cancellation on your phone requires higher volume for you to break through, Brian.
I didn't hear you.
And he's playing Nurgle,
Yeah.
Oh.
so it all fits within the theme.
It's all LARPing.
Yes.
I notice whenever someone farts at a Blood Bowl tournament, they always make a Nurgle joke. Like, aren't we past that now? You guys like that? I don't know.
No.
And then we could have an episode of the airing of grievances about the specific gamers in our community we dislike.
Sure, add it to the list. Biran, you have right access, add it.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
I think
Well-
I'll have the longest list for that one.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to name names. We can just give everyone a nickname that
Yeah.
some of us will get.
Fashion Pants Drive-By.
Right. I am O positive, if you will.
No, how could you hate that?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Great.
He's sort of a
anyway,
mascot.
I think you're going to see everything we mentioned will be an episode. Things we haven't even thought about yet is going to be an episode. As we get back to normalcy, you might actually see some live. I would love to see. That's why you got to ring the bell. You know, I know you subscribe. It's awesome. But if you ring that bell, you know, we can do an acapella Ring That Bell, the song, if you want one day, but not now. But if you ring the bell, you get notified. So now you go to a friendly ass Grognard's night at Grognard's, which I don't want to say what day it's on because I can't risk people that Biran doesn't want showing up.
Yeah.
Thursday. And you might see Biran does one of these. Hang on, Mike. Our game's going to be 20 minutes anyway. Let's just film it. Boom. It's on. And it's now live streaming the game. You can make comments and trash talk. I'd like to see some of that happen. I think we'll make that happen. You guys down for that?
Yeah.
When it fits?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
I
bonus
think-
Zlurpcast content. What Xtreme?
I think within season 2 of Zlurpcast, I will have a solo video to put up.
Masturbation or no?
Well, we'll see. I mean, masturbatory game related.
Little solo game action, maybe, or
You know what? Since we're throwing out bold predictions, and is it a prediction if you're the one in control of it? I don't even know. We're throwing out teases that we know are going to happen. There'll be a Zlurpcast where I will be in physical contact with Biran and Mike.
like penetration.
No, I just mean.
Oh.
He's the meat in the sandwich.
Yes.
I want to be invited to.
What Xtreme?
You're always invited.
I want to be invited to that. I mean, three.
He doesn't
guys
want to
there,
go.
but-
He just wants to be invited.
Don't spoil Xtreme. I might show up at that wrestling convention you're going to be at. I'm going to be like.
You'll show up in a mask in the rest in character.
No, I'm going to be fully vaccinated by that Xtreme. I might just show up, ready to go. We'll start
April
licking-
8th is my second dose.
I'm going to start licking doorknobs at that thing.
Don't get the Johnson & Johnson one. It's the GoBots version.
We don't know that yet.
You only need one shot for that one.
We only need
Right.
one.
Because it doesn't do anything. You're like, one.
I think the idea is if ever people have those and then people have the other ones, and we're all just mixing together.
They combine like Voltron to make herd immunity.
That's the plan. Everyone that you work with says, I'm not going to get one. They're all glad you're getting one, though. They won't
Right.
admit that, though. But they're happy you're getting one, although they're saying they're not going to get one. Every job has those.
I get a lot of YouTube videos feeding a very specific demographic the importance of vaccination.
Is that because I'm on Zlurpcast account?
No, it's on my account.
Oh, you're on. Okay.
I learned that I try not to make comment on what shows up when I log on under Zlurpcast, so I don't want to pass judgment.
I'm just tired of thinking about everything I do. And I just want to be like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, just to close on this note, because I haven't really done in-store gaming at my local store, any of them, in a year. Talking to Dan Day, who moved out here from the Grognar's group.
Yep. Great guy.
He comes
Yes.
out here to look at places with him and his wife. We go out to dinner. We have a great time. That was like 4 days before COVID becomes the thing. And he's been here and I haven't seen him. It sucks to have a friend move from your old town to
Yep.
your new town and not even get to hang out with them. So we're talking about Stargrave. We're texting. We're trying to get back to normal. Can't wait. So I think Zlurpcast season 2 is going to be even better than season 1. Are we going to have better games reviewed? I don't know. It's hard to top that list. We got a lot of good ones on there. We got a lot of shit ones too. But the amount of other things we can cover, including actually playing games, is going to take over. We're going to double the viewer count of these.
There might even be a video of me showing you how to become an award-winning painter.
Ooh. Think there'll be a video of a Nacho Con?
Nacho can be good.
A live,
Yeah.
a live Nacho? You set the date and maybe maybe I'll pop up. I believe it takes place on like Arcadia Lane or something.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I remember that because that was the store I used to hang out with at Stratford Square Mall as a kid. And Mike's street is like a flower, I think. And
We used to know Bryan Street, but he
mine
relocated.
was Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike is Parsnip Boulevard or something like that.
Yeah. For 7.
I fucked her with a Poshnip. And Biran is there. Yeah, so we'll see. In person though, it'll be fun. All right, guys, let's say our goodbyes.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.